Subnautica is a game that is near and dear to me. It's a damn near masterpiece of the survival genre. But one question I've seen crop up time and time again online, and even in my own mind, is Subnautica a horror game? Yes. Yes it is. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to the end of the video, comment WTF, that's it, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I ask this question because if you've played Subnautica, would you describe it as a horror game? Imagine this. You're at a high-end dinner party and folks around the table are discussing their most recent Lamborghini acquisitions and how little tax they've paid in the last financial year, when the person next to you turns and says, "Tell me about Subnautica." Would you, in that very possible scenario, describe it to them as a horror game? Horror is defined as an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. And yeah, okay, so Subnautica fits that description. But what sets it apart from the rest? If you haven't played Subnautica, well, go play it. Honestly, it's so damn good it needs to be played spoiler free. Pause this video, nab yourself a copy, it's even on mobile now, and play it. At its core, Subnautica is an open world survival game. The short of the story is, you're a fella on a big spaceship called the Aurora traveling through space sometime in the late 22nd century. Uh-oh, the Aurora's been hit and you find yourself in an escape pod ready to get out of there. Bing bang boom, your life pod lands on a delightful planet known as 4546b. And that's it. Off you go. Figure it out. After a hard landing, you wake up with nothing but an extra large piece of Weet-Bix, a bottle of water, and a PDA that you're not quite sure if it's being sarcastic or not. It's up to you to survive, I guess. The game doesn't give you any direction, not at this point anyway, and it's here that one could argue the horror begins. Ocean. Big ocean. Unless you have severe thalassophobia, you'll be fine. You dive right into the vibrant blue and notice an abundance of flora and fauna around you. You discover that you can pick up the little fishies for food and water, break rocks for minerals, and get farted on and die. Ah, there's a crafting station in your life pod. Ooh, it can make all sorts of goodies. An oxygen tank for me to stay underwater longer? Hell yeah! A rebreather to help me dive deeper? Why not? A sea glide to let me go faster? Oh, now we're cooking. You're 30 minutes to an hour in by now, and you've set yourself up with some supplies and equipment to go a little further and down a little deeper. See what else is out there for you. You've run into a stalker by this point, and it took a bite at you. But you survived, because you're a little trooper. A fright for sure, but that's the world you live in now. Your PDA is giving you helpful tips every once in a while, and even sending you coordinates to search for other life pods. Nothing too scary has happened this early in the game. But as you start to put your big boy pants on, things get a little more foreboding. You come to find that there are different biomes on the planet. Thankfully, you crashed in the safe shallows. As the name implies, it's safe and, would you believe it, shallow. Brimming with life and appealing to the eye, you feel you could actually make yourself at home here. But some of the other biomes are dark and, would you believe this, deep. The kind of dark that leaves you standing at the top of the basement stairs because the light bulb blew last week and Dad still hasn't gone to Bunnings to get a new one, and you're not going to do it because you're too busy grinding 99 Slayer on RuneScape, and you're also out of money because the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Magic the Gathering set came out, and you just don't know if you even like it because why does a card game about casting spells need to have an entire set dedicated to... Sorry about that. Subnautica has a lot of different biomes, some more relaxing than others. They all contain different creatures and materials, and you'll likely find yourself going to each of them on your journey. Even, if only for a few seconds, the one you just don't go to.
Warning, entering ecological dead zone. Adding report to databank.
To not hold your hand too much, whenever you enter a new biome for the first time, your PDA will give you a helpful anecdote about said biome, usually if it's rich in materials, or if there are cave systems nearby, or...
Detecting multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth...
Yep, very helpful. I'm never coming back here again, bye. Even the surface has some degree of biome. You might be surprised to find that there are some areas that take place above the deep blue sea. These locations aren't particularly scary, maybe a few annoyances here and there. What they excel at, however, is mounting dread. There's no shortage of this below the surface, but on land, the developers build it in a different way. Hopelessness. This entire time you've been on your own, fending for yourself, actually getting used to your new life underwater. Just as you're feeling equipped enough to venture back to the Aurora and scavenge for something that might get you off Waterworld, this happens.
Emergency. A quantum detonation has occurred in the Aurora's drive core. The reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Granted, this isn't exactly a surprise. Your PDA gives you several warnings that the ship is in worse shape than it looks, which isn't great to begin with. But watching it cause a nuclear explosion still snuffs out what little hope you had of repairing the thing and flying home. But hope is not all lost, not yet anyway. After repairing the radio in your life pod, you'll begin to receive radio messages. Some are from other survivors of the Aurora, some are from... whatever the hell that is, and others are from a ship in space. A ship that's coming to rescue you. Now, don't get too excited, I did say this game builds hopelessness, did I not? Survival on this planet is bleak. You've done well for yourself, but others, not so much. When you set out to investigate radio signals, all you end up finding is life pod after life pod that's been torn to shreds, time and time again. No sign of anyone surviving. There is one message, however, which instructs any survivors to meet on an island not far off. Solid land, hallelujah! But where is everyone? Looks like you're the only one to make it. Guess you better look around. Oh, look at that, a base has been built. But it's old. Really old. Turns out there was another crew who crashed on this planet years before you did, and it doesn't look like it ended well for them. Ah, but they didn't have rescue coming for them. And how do you know that you're actually getting rescued? That they're not just pulling a fast one on you? This big ass timer in the corner of your screen. 40 minutes and you're out of here. The sunbeam has picked up the Aurora's distress signal and it's on its way, and they've marked the pickup point next to this ominous structure. Anyway, you spend your remaining time on this planet making sure you don't die of starvation, and then sit happily on the exact spot where the sunbeam will retrieve you. Oh yeah, this section is on hopelessness, but if you're getting rescued, why is it in the hopelessness part?
Survivor, we see you. Man, I don't know how you held out down there. We broke an atmosphere, and we're descending towards the landing site. Is that a building down there? What do you mean you can't identify it? Hold on. No turning back now. Positions, everyone. Touching down in 10, 9, 8. It's coming from the building? Change course. Set thrusters to full.
Oh. 3 places that build up hope only to rip it out of your clammy little hands, leaving you with a little less hope than when you started. Going back below the surface, Subnautica's biomes are a masterclass in terror. Some are outright scarier than others, but what each and every one of them do is isolate you, make you realize you're just another fish in this never-ending ocean. Alongside unique critters and materials, most biomes have their own soundtrack, and some of them accompany their biomes a little too well. The developers really knew what they were doing when it came to audio in this game. The absolute banger of a soundtrack aside, the sounds of being underwater are so encapsulating that every single noise becomes recognizable. You come to learn pretty quickly which creatures make which sounds, which are friendly, which are annoying, and which you should run from. I think it's time to address the Leviathan in the ocean. After your first hour or so of playing, you find out where you sit on the food chain. It's not at the top. Far from it. In fact, I'd say you sit somewhere in the middle. The majority of fish in this vast ocean are a delightful food source for you to chow down on raw, cooked, or salted. A good chunk of sea life is either too big to bother with or competing for the same food as you. Some of the life forms in the ocean, however, are to be avoided at all costs. Subnautica's easiest argument for its horror game status are the Leviathans. The game has 6 different types of Leviathans. The first you'll meet is the reefback. They'll likely give you a big ol' fright when you first bump into them because, well, yeah, their Leviathan status is certainly justified, but they're just little guys at heart. The second Leviathan you'll most likely run into, however, isn't so friendly. Yeah, so case closed, Subnautica is a horror game, no question. This is a Reaper Leviathan. The developers thought it would be a fantastic idea to add 25 of these nightmare-inducing bastards to the world. Reapers sit at a length of 55 meters and have a bite that you should really avoid, but the real horror of these big nasties belongs to how they hunt. Echolocation. The general rule with a Reaper Leviathan is if you can hear it, it can see you. The distant roar of one searching for its prey is enough to send you straight back to your life pod. The close roar of a Reaper will send you straight to your undie straw. Because you've gone and shat yourself. As scary as these oversized eels are, they are simply trying to survive, just like us. They need food to live, and we just so happen to fit the criteria. There is no evil or malice with them, just hunger. But just because this is a creature of the world trying to stay alive and not some killer mutant hunting you down doesn't make it any less frightening. What makes it even more frightening is Reapers aren't at the top of the food chain either. To survive in this world, you need to go places you don't want to go, which pretty much means going where Leviathans are. Eventually you'll craft bigger and better vehicles capable of withstanding depths of up to 1700 meters. Using those vehicles can give you a strong sense of security, but as proven with the Reaper, that sense is false. Heading deeper into the tight nooks and crannies of the world, you'll discover the Lost River, and down here you'll find yet another oversized eel, the Ghost Leviathan. This bad boy clocks in at 67 meters long, and can seemingly grow to unknown lengths. Being a juvenile? This is a baby? Oh. The adults are 40 meters longer at 107 meters. Cool, neat. Anyway, you'll find a few babies, I guess, floating around, chomping at whatever they can to survive, which, of course, includes you. The big mamas and daddies actually swim further up, guarding the entrances to the Lost River. You'll find them swimming around in the dark, open water, and after calming yourself, you'll realize they're pretty easy to get past. Ghost Leviathans serve a special purpose to this game though. See, Subnautica handles its open world boundary in a unique way. Where most games will put up an invisible or not so invisible wall, or a steep drop to certain doom, Subnautica lets you go freely. You come to find out that going freely, however, is a bad idea.
Warning, entering ecological dead zone. Adding report to databank.
With the added benefit of keeping your immersion, the ghost that attacks you when you head into the ecological dead zone, this game's out of bounds, will immediately retreat once you're back in the playable area, teaching you a lesson you only need to learn once. After learning your lesson about the ghost leviathans, big and small, you'll find yourself even deeper underwater, in the inactive lava zone. Which is great. Since it's inactive, there's very little activity outside of a few grubs and smaller creatures. The developers decided to give you some well-earned breathing room so you can... Of course. Let's meet our final hostile leviathan, the sea dragon. Named that because it looks, sounds, and acts like a dragon in the sea. There are only 3 of these fire-spitting leviathans in the game, and they're all found down here. Now these oversized, not eels, are at the top of the food chain. They're the ones that did this. In my opinion, sea dragons are the least imposing of the 3 hostile leviathans. Frightening for sure, but once you're down here, you've got enough gear and experience to handle avoiding them. What they do have over the other 2 is location. You're 1500 meters plus below sea level. If they do happen to mess up your vehicles, there is no way you're making it back topside in time.
Help you.
To round off the short of the story, you find the Sea Emperor Leviathan who's been communicating with you telepathically. You help her hatch her young, which so happen to have the cure for a virus which has been plaguing life on the planet, yourself included. Switch off the cannon that shot down the Aurora and the Sunbeam, build a rocket ship from scratch, somehow, and fly yourself home. So to answer Margaret, the investment banker at the dinner party's question, yes, Subnautica is a horror game. That is, yeah, pretty obvious. But the game builds horror in a way that not many games have done before, and that is through man versus wild. Nature doesn't care. It's vast, unforgiving, indifferent, and terrifying. That's exactly why Subnautica is so effective as a horror experience. It doesn't want to scare you. The ocean just doesn't care if it does.